Hey everyone, welcome to Don't Drink the Kool-Aid. My name is Ian, and today I'm excited to talk about the 12 Tribes cult. Step into the world of the 12 Tribes, where the facade of peace and love hides a dark underbelly of manipulation and exploitation. This seemingly innocuous hippie group draws in new members with promises of acceptance and belonging, only to ensnare them in a web of abuse and supremacist beliefs. Join me as we dive into the harrowing truth behind one of America's most controversial cults still thriving today. The 12 Tribes is a new religious group founded in 1972 by Eugene Spriggs out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Elbert Eugene Spriggs was born on May 18, 1937 in East Ridge, Tennessee. Eugene was born into a religious household, regularly attending church several times per week. Eugene's upbringing was seemingly very positive, being voted as the May King in high school and even being granted a football scholarship. Eugene's first marriage occurred at the age of 19, but ended in divorce rather quickly. Upon graduating from college, he enlisted in the U.S. Army, conducting psychological testing for new recruits. After serving his time in the military, Eugene was discharged and began bouncing from job to job and marriage to marriage. Eugene soon started a teenage ministry group called the Light Brigade, which was later named to the 12 Tribes, alongside wife Marcia Duvall. The Light Brigade initially began living communally with 50 to 60 people in the home of Eugene and Marcia. They expanded their influence by opening a small coffee shop that operated out of their home and a restaurant called the Yellow Deli. The opening of coffee shops and restaurants are a common theme throughout the progression of the group, serving as both communal hubs and recruitment grounds. The Light Brigade began attending the First Presbyterian Church but weren't satisfied with its teachings. The group decided to open up their own churches and restaurants throughout Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. With this came criticism from the community and various religious leaders, going as far as to label the group a cult. The group faced their first reckoning in the summer of 1978 with a series of documented deprogrammings. Deprogramming is a brainwashing tactic used to restore members of a cult back to conventional values. This sometimes includes abduction, isolation, sleep deprivation, and bombardment of arguments against the cult's religious views. Led by Ted Patrick, many members were taken from the Light Brigade and deprogrammed amid various anti-cult movements. Soon after, the group essentially became bankrupt, closed their churches, and moved to Island Pond, Vermont. Accusations of mind control, manipulation, and even child abuse followed the group to Vermont. On June 22, 1984, roughly 100 Vermont State Police and social workers raided the compound in Island Pond, Vermont, based on accusations of child abuse. Contributing to the reasons for the raid, church elder Charles Wiseman was charged with misdemeanor simple assault. Authorities seized 112 children. All cases were eventually dismissed from court due to the judge ruling the raid unconstitutional. The judge also dismissed Wiseman's case because he had been denied the right to a speedy trial. The Vermont governor at the time described the event as the hottest political fire of his career. Following this event, the group began to gain popularity with the community in Island Pond. The group soon rebranded as the Messianic Communities, then as what we've come to know them as today, the 12 Tribes. Over the next decade, the group expanded globally, adopting a belief system that melded Christian fundamentalist ideas and Judaism. The 12 Tribes hold a staunch belief in their exclusive possession of the truth. They regard all other denominations and mainstream religions as fallen or corrupted, believing only they have maintained the pure teachings of Yeshua, which is the Hebrew name for Jesus. This exclusivity bolsters a sense of superiority among members, forcing their allegiance to the group and discouraging interactions with outsiders. Central to the 12 Tribes' belief system is the use of Hebrew names and the preference for Yeshua over Jesus. They believe that the name Yeshua better reflects the true nature of Jesus, emphasizing his Jewish heritage and divine identity. Members are often given Hebrew names by the group's leadership, which are believed to reflect their inner essence and personality. The group's eschatology revolves around the concept of three eternal destinies. They believe that after the fall of man, every individual is endowed with a conscience, irrespective of their faith. Upon death, all individuals enter a state of being called death, where they await the second coming of Yeshua. After this event, believers are resurrected to reign with him for 1,000 years before facing final judgment. Non-believers, or those they deem filthy or unjust, face condemnation and are consigned to the lake of fire, while the righteous inherit eternal life and fill the universe. Within the 12 tribes, authority is structured into a hierarchy, with various councils overseeing different levels of governance. Local councils manage individual communities, while regional councils oversee broader regions. The Global Apostolic Council serves as the highest authority, guiding the group's overarching direction. In addition to these councils, the group is overseen by a fluid number of roles, including teachers, deacons, deaconesses, elders, and apostles. Despite their structured leadership, the founder, Eugene Spriggs, is not considered a spiritual figurehead by members, emphasizing a collective leadership model. A hallmark of the 12 tribes lifestyle is communal living, where members are reportedly forced to relinquish all material possessions and live together in shared spaces. This communal lifestyle fosters a sense of unity and interdependence among members, reinforcing their commitment to the group's ideas and values. Community members typically work together, share meals, and participate in religious activities as a collective, creating a tightly knit social fabric. The 12 tribes places a strong emphasis on discipline, including the use of corporal punishment. They believe in the biblical principle of using a reed-like rod for discipline, viewing it as a form of correction and instruction. Despite denying allegations of child abuse, the group's disciplinary practices have drawn massive criticism and legal scrutiny, particularly regarding the treatment of children within their communities. Some of the 12 tribes' teachings have been contentious, particularly regarding race and slavery. They interpret the curse of Ham and the biblical narrative as a racial curse, suggesting that Ham's descendants were destined to be servants. This interpretation has been used to justify racist beliefs and attitudes within the group, including the notion that slavery was a means of bringing certain races into a state of worthiness. Their teachings state that slavery was, quote, a marvelous opportunity that blacks could be brought over here to be slaves so that they could be found worthy of the nations. Such teachings have sparked accusations of racism and discrimination against the 12 tribes, further complicating their relationship with broader society. To paint a better picture of the 12 tribes' culture, let's take a look at a story published by the Denver Post involving ex-member John Post. In the fall of 1999, 19-year-old John Post made a pivotal decision. Armed with essential documents like his birth certificate and social security card, along with cherished mementos such as his favorite blanket and family photo, he resolved to break away from the 12 tribes community in which he had been raised. Since childhood, he had been indoctrinated with the belief that leaving the 12 tribes would mean certain death. Despite grappling with the full weight of his choice, he knew he couldn't remain. With no financial resources, he agonized over his next steps, ultimately deciding to seek assistance from a friend in a nearby town. As he mustered the courage to depart from the Vermont compound, a group of about 15 cult members formed a barrier, invoking prayers and dire warnings about leaving the purported safety of God's embrace. Trembling with fear, Post pushed through the blockade. Recalling the tense journey into town, Post, who was deaf, expressed the intensity of his emotions through an interpreter. His father trailed behind, pleading for him to reconsider. In a moment of resolve, Post confronted his father, urging him to accept his choice. Eventually, his father fell silent and retreated. With that, Post tasted freedom for the first time. Reflecting on his departure, he adamantly declared his determination never to return. To him, the 12 tribes represented malevolence in its purest form. After escaping the group at 19, Post went to college and in his sophomore year wrote a 10-page letter to his father detailing the sexual abuse he had faced as a younger teenager while in the 12 tribes. His father simply responded by saying, "I don't believe anything you've said." John later confirmed some allegations of child abuse, saying that food would be withheld from children as an act of punishment, sometimes for days at a time. On September 5, 2013, German police raided 2 communities belonging to the 12 tribes and took 40 children into their custody to protect them from continued abuse. TV reporter Wolfram Koenig had managed to infiltrate the compounds and secretly record how the sect beat their children. In 2018, the European Court of Human Rights upheld the German move to take away the children from the sect. In July of 2019, the FBI released a 40-page report of a closed preliminary investigation stemming from allegations of child abuse at the group's Hiddenite, North Carolina compound. The documents revealed the existence of other investigations over the years, to include suspicions of child abuse in other compounds. There were also more bizarre allegations, including deaths that were thought to be suspicious, allegations of oddities during spiritual rituals, and unsubstantiated allegations involving founder Gene Spriggs' conduct during his time in the military. Despite the death of founder Eugene Spriggs on January 11, 2021, the 12 Tribes is still active today, with membership estimated to be around 3,000 people, spanning all over the world. Ex-members are continually coming out of the woodwork to express just how dangerous and manipulative the group really is. The 12 Tribes still actively recruits new members, often targeting vulnerable individuals searching for purpose and belonging. Yet, amidst the veneer of camaraderie lies a darker truth, one of manipulation, exploitation, and systemic abuse. Recent reports and investigations have begun to shed light on ongoing accusations of child abuse, corporal punishment, and the perpetuation of racist ideas within the 12 Tribes. These revelations serve as stark reminders at the insidious nature of this organization and the urgent need to protect vulnerable individuals from further harm. As the legacy of the 12 Tribes continues to unravel, it serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers posed by extremist ideologies and the importance of staying vigilant against manipulation and exploitation. Hey everyone, thank you for joining me in our discussion about the 12 Tribes cult. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. If you have a topic you'd like to see me cover in the future, drop a comment. And always remember, don't drink the Kool-Aid.